Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Friday version of North Mississippi Spotlight. Gary Darby here, Super Talk 93.7, and we're getting an opportunity to continue a little bit of our Bank First Ranger Hour that we do on Thursdays, because we have Hedy, the life and inventions of Hedy Lamarr, coming to the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. It's a good thing I've been doing this for 30 years, and I figured out how to say things, because that was a mouthful. Heather Massie is on the phone with us. Hi, Heather.
Hello. Thrilled to be with you, Gary.
It's great to get a chance to do this, and I've got several different questions. When preparing to do this and to talk with you about the performance, which is coming up on Tuesday in Senatobia, the first one from me is, why Hedy Lamarr? We're talking to a person, Heather, and you, that started out right in astrophysics at the University of Virginia, thinking about science and thinking about things of that nature, and now, you know, we're actor, writer, producer, and all involved. How did it turn into you being in this performance and doing everything you do for Hedy Lamarr?
Yes, well, I mean, I was headed toward being in the sciences since at least third grade, and I started university in astrophysics with the dream of becoming an astronaut, and ended up with a theater arts degree. So I had a curve in my life, and I still always had an interest in science. I've been a professional actor for some time, and I decided two things. Well, I wanted to have a show that I could take anywhere in the world, because I'd wanted an international tour and just hadn't gotten cast in one. So I decided I needed to do it myself. And I also determined that a solo show would be the most portable kind of show, and that I wanted to feature a woman in science. So when I was researching and brainstorming with people about what a woman in science I could feature, I came up with Hedy Lamarr, and she's such an unexpected genius that she's a perfect subject.
And doing this, like I like to watch, you know, movies of whatever age, and knew her from some of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. But I had no idea the inventions and the things and the actual person she became as her life went on. I'm just fascinated now in doing this research about Hedy Lamarr and wanting to learn more. Do you find that to be, even today, now that you've been doing these performances, the same with you, that you realize, okay, she was in Hollywood in the golden age, but yet she became this in the science world as well?
Yeah, she's fascinating to me, and it's a gift, really, that I chose her as a subject, because she's fascinating to everyone else around the world. Countries where people didn't even know who she was in her heyday are learning about her. So, really, it's because she was Hollywood film star, like you said, during the 30s, 40s, and 50s. She was known as the most beautiful woman in the world. Which is actually kind of a heavy name to carry. But the people were stunned by her beauty and didn't give her credit for being intelligent. But she was a genius. And to explain the technology that she created, would you like me to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So during World War II, he wanted to support the Allied forces against the Axis forces and Hitler. She was of Jewish heritage and originally from Vienna, Austria. And she decided that she had a mind for mechanics. And so she wanted to create a system of guidance for torpedoes that was jam-proof or foolproof. And so she created frequency hopping spread spectrum technology, the guidance system for torpedoes using radio frequencies. And we use her technology now in cell phones, Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, satellite guidance systems, barcode scanning, all kinds of stuff that we use every single day in our communication and just everyday lives. And so So her story is very important and relevant to all of us, no matter what age we are in today's world.
The performance is Tuesday at the Heindel Center in Senatobia at 7:30, and we're talking with Heather Massie. You mentioned, when you were talking about the most beautiful woman in the world, I have interviewed, tribute artists, whether they are trying to be Freddie Mercury or Elvis impersonators or whatever. You get where I'm going with this. And now you're trying to be this person who was thought of as a beauty, as intelligent, as an actress. How heavy is it then, now that you brought that up?
Yeah, well, I think partly because the person who brought her up to me when we were brainstorming is the fact that he didn't bat an eye that I could play Hedy Lamarr, because I would have thought, oh my goodness, the most beautiful woman in the world, really? Can I do that? So it was that somebody else had put faith in me that I could pull that off. So I say it takes me a bit of preparation before each show, because I do a lot of things to make myself look as physically like her as possible. So there's a thing in theater that we call suspension of disbelief. That the audience goes along for the ride. That we know you're not in Switzerland or on the moon, but for purposes of watching the show, we believe it. Suspension of disbelief. So I say that I have to suspend my own disbelief before I walk in the stage in becoming Hedy Lamarr. But it's also using all of my performance skills and studying her speech and her movements and how I can best portray her, which is what she did as a child. She liked to study people, and she said she was a little copybook, and then she could imitate them or portray them herself by studying them, and that's what I do. But not only do I play Hedy Lamarr, but I play 35 other characters in the show, which is a lot of fun.
So you, writer, producer, you can get onto yourself because you didn't perform just right, because you're in charge of everything that goes on logistically with this. How did it pull into 35 other different characters? And then are you going into trying to sound like each of them? Because I've also heard the accent and how you sound like Hedy Lamarr. Do we get that full picture? And how difficult is that?
Oh, well, to play Hedy,
all of it.
I guess to play Hedy along with the other characters.
Yes.
Well, to me, it's great fun. To be honest, I started out when I was writing the piece. It was really a way to take care of the audience and make it interesting and engaging, because otherwise, it's just somebody talking about their life in past tense. It's just like you might as well read a biography.
Sure.
What's the point? So I wanted to make it immediate, in the moment, present tense, and whenever there's a moment where I could bring in another character, I do. Now, even in all these characters, the most important relationship is Hedy's relationship with the audience, because Hedy relates with the audience throughout the show. But for the other characters, it's not it's dialogue scenes of what happened in the past with these people, and so I use physical choices and vocal choices to create the other characters in dialogue with Hedy, and make sure that the audience knows what's happening at any given time, so they know who I am, who I'm playing at any given moment. And it's a lot of fun because there's always something to work on. I love playing multiple characters. I love dialect work. And how often does an actress get the opportunity to play leading lady alongside character acting? Simultaneously being leading lady and character acting. It's a lot of fun. And so it gets to be her parents and 3 of her 6 husbands, and Clark Gable and Betty Davis and Jimmy Stewart. And so there are all these people that are nice and nostalgic for people who know them and have seen their films. It's nice to see Jimmy Stewart for a moment. He was Hedy's favorite co-star. So in that way, Hedy is able to tell her story. So the thing is, she was never able to tell her story of how she created this technology. And so basically in the show, the audience has summoned Hedy to come back to explain how someone so unexpected was able to create this technology that's in our everyday lives today. And it goes all the way back to the fact that she was very inquisitive as a child, and her father really fostered that inquisitive nature by teaching her how a streetcar works or how a printing press works. So that then she had the knowledge of how machinery worked. When her first husband was an arms dealer in Vienna, and she picked up a lot of knowledge about munitions, which is how she knew what the problems were with torpedoes in order to fix the problem.
Very interesting. Going to be a great performance, people, Tuesday night, 7:30, Centertopia at the Heindel Center. And Heather, as I listen to you speak, it would seem to me maybe one of the biggest challenges that you have is how to condense this. You know what the entire story and everything that Hedy Lamarr is, and how you tell it. How difficult is it to condense it all together and not keep us, rolling along for 5 or 6 hours at the theater,
Right. Yeah, you definitely have to make choices. You definitely have to make choices as to what parts of the story are most important. But I really went in my research, I highlighted all the things that were important to the story, but also anything that was ironic or stupid or funny, because Hedy Lamarr had a great wit. And so I wanted to imbue that wit throughout the play. And that really, Hedy really was very charming. And so having that charm with her in relation to the audience is great joy. And the audience, because she relates with the audience throughout the show, it makes every performance special and unique. Because that interaction with the audience is there, and there's an element of improvisation in every performance.
Well, I want to thank you for talking with the people of North Mississippi today on this program. We look forward to you next week on Tuesday and getting you into Centertopia and the Heindel Center. Thank you for telling us a little bit about it. Hopefully we have intrigued people, and we'll have some people there at the Performing Arts Center to see you on Tuesday. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks so much. And it's the Heindel Center just HeindelCenter.org, HEINDL. And then my website is HeatherMassie.com. So that's Heather, MASSIE.com.
Excellent. Thank you, and have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Delightful to speak with you. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thanks for being with us again. You can find this in your podcast form wherever that may be a little bit later on in the day. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 9:06 with a discussion of some kind, as you know it, with North Mississippi Spotlight. Thanks for joining us on a Bank First Ranger Hour. So long, friends.